بزرگوارم هستم و سپاسگزاری میکنم از پروفسور جک راسل واینستین برای پذیرش این دعوت. از جناب پروفسور واینستین درخواست کردم که به جمع ما بپیوندند و گویا دارن تشریف می‌برند. Hi Jack, how are you?
Good, Shirzad. How are you?
Fine, thanks. And you?
It's a good day to be inside. North Dakota winters are cold and snowy, and so it's a good day to be inside. But I'm doing okay despite the turmoil in the world. So.
Do you know that today is the anniversary of Iranian 1979 revolution?
I did not know that. That is very, very interesting. Are there public reflections? Are there things in the newspaper? Is it being commemorated in any way?
Yeah, they do, because we have 10 days from today, and they celebrate this event.
Okay. Well, that's are there, how do I ask this question? The students who were involved, have they assumed leadership roles, and are they still relevant, or is this an idea that now is much more about history than about the current influence?
No, it doesn't belong to history. Do you remember we talked about the connotation of the word history? Yes. in your language? Yeah.
Yes.
With that meaning, it doesn't belong or relate to history at all. Period.
That's very interesting. I suspect that it probably holds a similar experience or a similar role culturally in Iran that the attack on September 11th holds in the United States. It's a paradigm shift. It's a filter of understanding the nation and the world, and it's probably very hard to escape if you want to.
Yeah. Okay, Jack. Our audience know you well, but let me introduce you once more for our new friends. And first of all, let me thank you for accepting my invitation once more. As I remember, last time we talked about US presidential election, and it was before the election. And you forecasted and predicted so many things that they all came true. And I got shocked. It was before the election that you told me Trump won't accept the result of the election. I remember you even told me about the coup, and it happened in the Capitol. Are you North Dakota's Nostradamus?
We have an expression in English, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
It shows you are humble, nothing more than it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, I'm shaking, sorry.
Okay, let me translate what I told you to my Persian-speaking audience. درود بر فرهیختگان گرانقدر. ما پیش از انتخابات ریاست جمهوری امریکا با پروفسور جک راسل واینستین صحبت کردیم و تقریبا مو به مو چیزهایی که استاد ما پیش بینی کردند، از عدم پذیرش نتیجه توسط دونالد ترامپ، از تبریک نگفتن به جو بایدن، از احتمال رخ دادن کودتا، از اتفاقاتی که در کنگره افتاد، همه اینها واقع به وسیله پروفسور جک راسل واینستین پیش بینی شده بود و به همین دلیل بود که من بهشون گفتم که آیا شما نوستراداموس نورث داکوتا هستی، چون میدونید که ایشون در دانشگاه نورث داکوتا تدریس میکنن و استاد بزرگی هستن، به عنوان بهترین استاد اونجا هم انتخاب شدن که ایشون متواضعانه فرمودن که ساعت خراب هم 2 بار زمان رو درست نشون میده، که من گفتم نشونگر تواضع و فروتنی شما هست. سوالی که از ایشون میخوام بپرسم، اولین سوال این است که آیا ما واقعا در دوران پس از ترامپ به سر میبریم یا نمیتوان گفت که ما در دوران پس از ترامپیم. So Professor Wainstein, now we are after the election and Joe Biden is your president right now and Kamala Harris is your vice president. Let's go straight to our main topic and question. Are we in the post-Trump world yet?
We are not. Let me move my chair. I keep shaking the camera. We are not. But I don't know that we are in Trump's world either. We are in a transition period that is very unpredictable. And the metaphor that I would use is that of an abusive relationship. Many women know the experience of ending a relationship with a violent man and then spending some time worrying that this person is going to break down their door, this person is going to stalk them on the street, this person is going to harass them at work. That the presence of trying to end the relationship leaves an aura of chaos and violence everywhere. And that's where we are now. We don't know how this unpredictable person and these unpredictable people will react to not getting what they want and not having a voice in the same way that they did.
Thank you very much. ایشون میفرمایند که نه، ما در دوران پس از ترامپ به سر نمیبریم و نمیتوان گفت که قضیه ترامپ تموم شده، مثل یک رابطه زناشویی که ممکن است که عملا تموم شده باشه ولی ممکن است که آزار جنسی صورت بگیره یا ممکن است تجاوز صورت بگیره یا ممکن است که یا کسی در رو بزنه، در خیابان متعرض آدم بشود و قص الهازا. بنابراین اصل قضیه کماکان پابرجاست و به طور سوری ترامپ از بین رفته ولی به طور عملی نه. Jack?
Yes, I'm here. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ask me a question? I didn't hear a question. I only heard the Persian.
No, I just translated what you told me in the answer of the last question, and I think you want to go on.
Oh, sorry, I misunderstood. I thought a lot about this question, and I thought a lot about the fact that I am a philosopher, not a public policy person. And so I think the thing that I want to say most of all is that no one has any idea what's going to happen. And no one has any idea for, I think, a really interesting philosophical reason. We are out of the realm of institutional politics. America is unstable in a way that it hasn't been since the Civil War. And so instead of being able to predict how the institutions will unfold, we're back in the realm of both human nature and realist political politics. How does a population react when it's being threatened internally as opposed to externally? How does a population and how do individuals react when they view themselves either as scratching for power, as Trump's followers are, or resisting aggressively as the people who oppose Trump are? And when we are back in the realm of human nature and in the realm of realist political, national, international, or global politics, then the day-to-day rules don't apply because people are at their most unpredictable when they're threatened in a way that the institutions can't protect them.
Thank you very much. خب ایشون فرمودن که اولا من فیلسوفم نه دانشمند علوم سیاسی و در این مقطع از زمان اصلا هیچ کس هیچ ایده‌ای نداره که از لحاظ فلسفی چه اتفاقی افتاده که ترامپ محصولش بوده و فرمودن که ما سیاست متغیر و غیر ثابتی الان داریم با دست و پا زدن برای به دست آوردن قدرت به هر شکلی روبرو هستیم و وقتی به سرشت آدمیزاد برمیگردیم و این رو از لحاظ فلسفی بررسی میکنیم میدونیم که آدمیزاد بسیار غیر قابل پیش بینی است. Jack, as you remember in our last discussion we talked about Trump and we told that Trump is a kind of effect, not the cause. So if the cause remains, we still have the effect. And one more question, what about around 75 million people who voted for Trump? Who are they? And do you think that they have forgotten everything and everything is okay right now?
It was a strange election because, of course, Joe Biden got more votes than any presidential candidate in history. But Donald Trump got the second most votes. The Senate represents, the Democrats in the Senate represent, I think it's 41 million more people than the Republicans represent in the Senate, but it's 50-50. So there's an imbalance of power and a rejection of the basic democratic principle that the majority rules. The people who we normally think of as Trump supporters are in general not Trump supporters. The narrative is that these are poor, rural folks without a voice who aren't listened to. And of course, the rural populations tend to vote for Trump more than they vote for Biden. But the core Trump supporter is a fairly well-off white person who has a stable community and a voice that's been listened to for ages. And ultimately, the problem is that if we exclude the most extreme people, if we exclude the people who want a coup, who want a return to racial superiority of the white people, if we exclude that top part, then what you have is a population who has consistently voted against their own interests. Rural people, farmers especially, do better under Democrats. The overall economy does better under Democrats. America tends to be safer under Democrats. But the narrative that they're told and the narrative that we generally communicate in this country is that the Republicans are the party of the farmer, of the uneducated, of the military, and that's just not the case. So again, we have this problem of human nature, which is, how do you predict a population, or how do you describe a population that consistently votes against their own interest, not because they're self-destructive, but because they genuinely, mistakenly think that the other people who support them are actually against them? And this has been there are historical reasons why, and I can explain the trajectory of the Republican Party and why that happens, but that's less important than the mere fact that consistently you have a huge portion of the population that every time they think their voice is heard, they become worse off. And so the more power they grab, the less power they actually have. What does that lead to? That leads to chaos and violence.
Thank you very much. فرمودن که انتخابات بسیار عجیب و غریبی بود و طرفداران ترامپ در واقع طرفداران او نیستند. اگر یک دهک بالایی رو که طرفداران دو آتشش هستند و دنبال کودتا هستند کنار بگذاری، بقیه طرفدار ترامپ نیستند، بلکه صداشون شنیده نمیشه. صداشون در حزب جمهوری خواه و حزب دموکرات شنیده نمیشه و ترامپ به نوعی شنونده صدای کسایی خودش رو نشون داده که صداشون شنیده نمیشه و ما گستردی از گونه‌های گوناگون افراد رو داریم که به ترامپ رای دادن علیرغم منافع و خواسته های خودشون و فرمودن که اون تقسیم بندی قدیمی که آدمای سطح پایین و تحصیل نکرده و نظامی و کشاورز و اینها به جمهوری خواه رأی میدن